Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Reina del Barrio Firehouse, Community Media Center of Manhattan Neighborhood Networks. Before we begin, we'd like to welcome to the stage the director of Reina del Barrio Firehouse, Zenaida Mendez.
I want to tell you a little bit about Reina del Barrio Firehouse. We are a community media center. So in addition to people coming here to learn everything they have to do with television production, the heart of the Firehouse is the youth media center. So the young people learn about critical thinking. So we bring experts from different organizations to give them workshops. It could be, prevention of HIV, climate change, police brutality, you name it. They learn how to do that, and they produce 5 hours a week of programming for us. We have 5 television channels for the community. And our first Tuesday of the month, we have an open house, what we call orientation in English, and on Wednesdays is in Espanol. So all the classes here are in English and Spanish, and we welcome everyone. We do forum. This year we've done 3 forums in Puerto Rico, 2 of them live, and those video testimony are going to be we were taking to the UN last week, and we'll go to international court. Testimony from people who just arrived from Puerto Rico after Maria, and there were 3 lawyers listening to their testimony. It was coordinated to Dr. Marta Moreno Vega and the Caribbean Cultural Center and us, and many other organizations. So this is the kind of event that we also host here. We have a small gallery, as you can see when you come in, so the artists in the community can also exhibit their work. And like I said, we are here to serve you. It's no censorship. Your voice is your weapon now, so make sure you use it. And welcome to Reina del Barrio Firehouse. Thank you.
Our next welcoming to the stage is the Director of Capacity Building, New York City Department of Small Business Services, Lara Burnback.
It's great, amazing to be here with the launch of the East Harlem Working Together campaign with our unbelievably dedicated, fantastic partners, Union Settlement and World Studio. So a big thank you and shout out to them. At the Department of Small Business Services, we aim to unlock the economic potential and create economic security for all New Yorkers. And how do we do that? We do that by connecting them to career track jobs, building stronger businesses, and fostering vibrant and thriving neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs. Our hope is that every neighborhood in New York City can be one where people can live, do business, work, shop, and play. SBS partners with community-based development organizations like Union Settlement because we really understand and we believe that empowering neighborhood leaders and community members results in more genuine and more sustainable change, more sustainable impact for all of us. So tonight's event, which is the result of the SBS-funded Neighborhood Design Lab and the Neighborhood 360 program, I think is a really prime example of the kinds of exciting collaborations that we work to foster. So a very quick bit of recent history. Last year, SBS created the Neighborhood Design Lab program in partnership with Mark Randall and the World Studio Foundation. I think we really understood, or we had heard from our community-based partners that visual design, really high quality, good visual design, is really critical to help organizations and neighborhoods promote the small businesses in their communities and attract customers. But we also know that many organizations don't have in-house design expertise. So through Design Lab, SBS selected 4 community-based organizations to work with World Studio, and over the course of the past year or so, they've brainstormed, planned, and carried out a creative design event or campaign, which is aimed at promoting and celebrating their neighborhoods and the small businesses that exist there. So Union Settlement was accepted into this very competitive program, by the way, on the strength of their commitment and their ideas for what would eventually become East Harlem Working Together. The implementation of this campaign will be funded through the Neighborhood 360 grant that was awarded to Union Settlement in 2017. Neighborhood 360 grants support projects that strengthen and revitalize the streets, small businesses, and community-based organizations that anchor our New York City neighborhoods. We know that over the past year, Union Settlement has worked very hard to facilitate all kinds of programming to support merchants, beautify the corridors, and create a meaningful sense of place for the entire community. I think that's evidenced here tonight. Using these grant funds over the next year, Union Settlement will implement and distribute district marketing materials such as street banners, outreach materials, and a revamped website, all using this beautiful design that you see behind me. So once again, it's my pleasure to be here tonight to celebrate the hard work and dedication of Union Settlement, World Studio, and all of the East Harlem partners, small business owners, residents that are represented here in the room tonight. So thank you very much.
The message about Union Settlement is that they believe in people even when people don't believe in themselves.
I moved to the United States 2 years ago, but 1 year I am be able to communicate in English. It's very good.
Union Settlement is my second home.
You're not defined by your circumstances. So many doors have opened to me because of things that they taught me, and I'm so grateful.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to East Harlem Working Together. I'm your host, Rhina Valentin of La Reina del Barrio, eager to share some of the revitalization taking place in East Harlem. Encompassing north of 96th Street and east of 5th Avenue, this community is historically known for having large populations of Latinos, primarily Puerto Ricans. And well, the neighborhood known as El Barrio has become more diverse as other ethnic groups have grown. Reinvigorating its current identity, East Harlem has become a popular location for residents and small businesses. Many local businesses concentrated along commercial corridors such as 116th Street are now becoming the go-to places to find those hidden treasures. Thanks to the New York City Department of Small Business Services and Union Settlement initiatives such as East Harlem 360, Buy Local East Harlem, and Meet Me Merchant Mondays, promote economic development and encourage residents to shop local. Today, we introduce the official launch of East Harlem Working Together, a project of the Neighborhood Design Lab. This initiative connects nonprofit community-based development organizations and designers from World Studio Foundation to create neighborhood design and communication projects. And here to share more about the Neighborhood Design Lab and East Harlem Working Together, please welcome World Studio Principal Mark Randall and Many Design Principal Andrew Shea. Hello.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We're very excited to be here.
We are excited to have
Yes.
you, and we're going to kick it off by just thanking you for creating this amazing set for us.
Well, that was because we're designers. That's what we have to do.
Oh my gosh,
Every
you just
detail
had to do it.
considered, every detail.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's
Yes.
lovely.
Thank you.
It's lovely. Of
Thank
course,
you.
this is the
This is the centerpiece.
star.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
However, just wanted to acknowledge you. I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that you dipped your hands in here too.
Well, Mark did most of it.
Yes,
I'll give him most of it.
And that's good. We're going to talk about this partnership here. All right. So, Mark, tell us about World Studio.
So World Studio is unique in that it's a for-profit design and communications firm, but also a nonprofit arts foundation. And really what we try to do is we work with designers and artists and creative individuals to create projects that impact positive social change. We're really interested in using design and creativity to impact the lives of individuals and communities.
So, how does Many Design associate itself with World Studio?
As much as possible.
I like that.
No, we share a lot of the same feelings and mindsets as far as what kind of clients we want to work with, what kind of causes we want to promote. We're not a foundation, so that's definitely unique to World Studio. But we work with the same kinds of clients. And when Mark reached out to me and asked whether or not he wanted to partner with this project, for me it was a no-brainer.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like when I needed a partner.
Can you just tell me the difference between both of you, right? Like between World Studio and Many Design? I just want clarity.
You want to
Well, there are two different studios.
Okay. That's clarity number one. Right?
We have different kinds of clients, but a lot of times there's an overlap. The difference is maybe just operational. We really just have different businesses, but I would say if he's working on a project, it's probably the kind of client that I would like to work with.
And
too.
vice versa.
Yeah.
And so when I was working
big
with
city.
when I was working with the New York City Department of Small Business Services to sort of develop the Neighborhood Design Lab, I wanted a partner to come in and sort of just add to the depth of what we could offer the people that we were working with. And Andrew was really the first person I thought of because his work is so aligned with what I like to do. You know, he's very much rooted in communities and has a lot of experience working with communities at the grassroots level. And that's one of the things that was really important about this project to us, is that so often designers kind of come in as like the all-knowing designer. They it's called parachute design. They come in, they assess the situation, and they bestow their design upon the community. We really wanted to work at the grassroots level in partnership with the people that we were working with to express the ideas that they had. And I know Andrew does that. It's what I like to do. So that's really how this arrangement happened.
And we really consider the community to be the expert.
Yes.
You know, we go in, we facilitate, we have certain tools that we use and processes, but we know that we're not there every day.
Got it.
And we know the people who are there experience the realities that, you know, are the basis of the challenge or the problem. So we rely on them for a lot of that.
That's beautiful. I get what you're saying with regards to an artist coming in and just kind of claiming it versus working from the bottom up.
Well, and just so, I mean, even using this artwork as an example, you know, the inspiration of this artwork that was created by the illustrator Idel Rodriguez really came from we had what we call a creative session with the team at Union Settlement. And one of the exercises that we did with the group at Union Settlement was to sort of come up with adjectives that they felt defined the community. So
can you share some of those adjectives?
Yeah, so some of the adjectives were like, you know, family, togetherness, you know, unity, growth, and then there were things like, you know, economic development, prosperity. So those were the words that we based everything that we did on. And those were the words that we gave Idel to realize visually in this image. So this image really becomes a symbol of what we heard from the Union Settlement community.
Okay, so that's for East Harlem. Like, let's talk a little bit about the design lab, the neighborhood design lab. Okay. Just in general, like, what is that approach? Because you're working with various communities, right?
Yes,
And so you're working together.
Yes,
we're
working together.
Right, so it's World Studio and Mini Design. I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't just for East Harlem.
We studios.
Okay.
We do kind of the overarching kind of conceptualization together.
Right.
And then like Andrew's got a couple that he kind of focuses on a little bit more, and then I have a couple that I focus on a little bit more.
So how many do you have altogether?
There's 4 communities we're working in. We're working with in Staten Island along Port Richmond Avenue. And then we're working with Coney Island, Alliance for Coney Island. And then we're working with
Marble Hill
in the Bronx, from Marble Hill Merchants Association in the Bronx. And then, of course, you guys in East Harlem.
Beautiful. How do you choose your artists? What kind of process is that?
So the inspiration for working with Idel really came from trying to understand what the community valued. And you know, East Harlem's very diverse. There's a lot going on. And you know, one of the things that we noticed that there was a lot of community pride around murals. And this idea of murals and community art was a really important part of the community, and it's a very vibrant part of the community. So we thought having some kind of illustration that could ultimately be turned into a mural would be a really fantastic way to kind of express what we really wanted to express through this project. So that's that's kind of the genesis of how we got to this idea of an illustrated image.
So Idel, right, as much as we would have loved to have him here, he's somebody that you work with regularly.
Yes, I have worked with him before.
And so how did you know that he would suit this community?
Well, so Idel is Cuban American. His work is he's quite prolific, and he's actually quite successful right now. He's like a hot illustrator. He's doing some really remarkable things.
You want to share with everybody
well, so you know, I think you might know.
I'm like, he's hot. We want to know what's hot about it.
So he's done a lot of work around kind of Donald Trump. He did all the Time magazine covers for about the Donald Trump meltdown and all those iconic Time magazine covers about Donald Trump. He did. He's done a lot of work around Donald Trump. He just did all the graphics for U2, the band U2. They're on tour right now. So on stage are all these great images that he did. So we were actually super excited and lucky to get him involved in this project. But he he really connected to it. So that was what was wonderful to work with him about. I've also been working with them on a project called Amplify, which is on 125th Street in Lenox, which is about a project about promoting social justice, issues of social justice through a poster project. So Edel was one of the artists in that particular program too.
Which is wonderful. It's all about raising that social consciousness. And I love that it's being done through the arts. And so how do you pick your topics?
For
any social consciousness, any social awareness, all the social initiatives.
Well, I teach this, but I also do it myself. And if someone's curious with that kind of question, I say, what do you care about? Because that's really what's going to sustain you through the process of working on a project. Especially if it's one where there's community and maybe they're undersourced and there's a lot of need, and you could become more emotionally invested in it. So you have to really care about it. I've done a lot of projects that kind of have this background to it. Things that are around like building community, things around immigration, things around the arts, and so those are things I care about. I mean, a lot of times when I'm working with students, we talk about what they care about, and at that point, we might go out and find a client, or we might just self-initiate a project. Right.
So, with this particular project, right here in East Harlem. What do you hope that people are going to walk away with?
I think what we were trying to do is visualize this sense of working together. This sense of, even though East Harlem is quite diverse, it really is. We felt like it did seem like it was kind of a tight-knit community, and we really wanted to kind of symbolize that and visualize that and give people an image that they could rally around and that could ultimately become kind of the symbol of the neighborhood. Yeah. So we're going to have a banner campaign, so we'll have banners all along 116th Street. We're hopefully going to have a big mural in the community. So it's a way to kind of sort of and then really ultimately what East Harlem Working Together does is it connects the community to all of the amazing resources that Union Settlement and the Neighborhood 360 program is providing the community. And I think that the thing is that people don't realize the great work that Union Settlement is doing in the community and the amazing opportunity that people can kind of connect to.
Well, they'll realize after this show.
Exactly.
They're going to realize now.
That's what we're trying to do, is to get people to kind of funnel over to Union Settlement and get some really great support.
Yeah. And we know there's so many challenges they're facing, and so finding a way to understand that it's a collective effort, I think, is really important. That's one of the things we talked about in our meetings with Union Settlement too.
Absolutely, unity is key. And so I want to thank you, Mark. Thank you,
thank
Andrew,
you
for being here with us. We're going to open up the floor for questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for Mark or Andrew?
How did you guys come up with the flower specifically? Why flower for this design?
So it was really Edel that came up with the flower, but he came up with the flower because we gave him words like growth, unity, family,
empowerment.
Empowerment, and so he did a bunch of different sketches, and then when we saw the flower, we all liked the flower, but then somebody in the meeting said, "Oh, it's like the rose of Spanish Harlem," and we thought, oh my God, that's perfect. So that was really what helped. Again, it just kind of adds this metaphorical layer to what we were trying to do, so that there's this flower, this beautiful growing flower with the community nestled inside, just it became a really wonderful symbol about what we were trying to do and what we knew Union Settlement was trying to do.
All right, once again, you guys, please look for this beautiful banner designed by artist Edel Rodriguez along the 116th Street corridor, and that's coming up in the near future. You can also view other artwork produced by Edel by visiting edelr.com. And for more info on World Studio, visit worldstudioinc.com. And for Many Design, visit manydesign.org. And to learn more about the Neighborhood Design Program, visit nyc.gov/SBS. So earlier today, Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer stopped in to share her thoughts behind our borough's creative economic development initiatives. Let's take a look.
Well, thank you very much. It is an honor to be here. I am Gail Brewer, Manhattan Borough President. And the topic of small business in East Harlem, the topic of small business in general, is one of the hardest in New York City. So as a small part of the work that was done to rezone East Harlem and the effort of all of you and the community board and the elected officials and certainly the former speaker was really yeoman. No other community has done that kind of input in terms of 2.5 years of constant meetings. So I really want to thank East Harlem. And you looked at cultural, small business, affordable housing, open space. The list is endless, and it really set the bar very high for other communities. Now the challenge is we're talking today particularly about small business. And I want to certainly thank the work that has been done at Union Settlement as part of the Business Development Center and all the work that SPS has done to give funding through Neighborhood 360. And now the work begins. Because from my experience on the Upper West Side as a city council member, where we curtailed the size of the store, so new banks there can only be 25 feet long, and new stores can only be 40 feet long, usually in a 200-foot streetscape on a block. It doesn't necessarily help with the rent, and it doesn't necessarily help with keeping the mom and pop and the uniqueness of the shops in East Harlem. It helps with the size, but not necessarily with the rent and not necessarily with what goes into that store. And we all need grocery stores, and we all need the local music store and something that's iconic to East Harlem. And when we had the discussion about the rezoning, I kept being the pain in the neck talking about retail, retail, retail. Thank goodness for Union Settlement, and thank goodness for SBS and the effort that you've done. Because as I walk up and down 3rd Avenue, I see an awful lot of vacancies. We're now trying as a city to figure out what to do about vacancies. It's not just on 3rd Avenue. They're everywhere. 188 on Broadway alone because I counted, so I know how many are there, top to bottom. We hope to have a city council bill that says every owner of every building in the city of New York has to tell us when there's vacancy because we need the data. Data is important. When you have the data, then you can look at policies. So in East Harlem, the good news is that you have an opportunity through the rezoning. We're going to continue talking. There's a group that continues to talk. And the good news is you have Union Settlement. And the good news is you have the funding from SBS. That's a really powerful combination that nobody else in the city has. So that's a really good thing. Now the question is, how do you work with the owners? How do you work with the small business community to put the two together? So you don't have with all due respect, chain store that's a national chain store like a grocery store or something that isn't appropriate for the iconic aspect of the community. And that's where you need to have, in my opinion, a constant discussion as part of the rezoning and the SBS work and the work with Union Settlement. Because I will tell you, I think that the owners, if they work with you, and maybe if you need some sticks as opposed to just carrots about the size, maybe that's something that we want to work on, then you can have a discussion about what kind of store goes in there, and then maybe there could also be discussion about the rent, because you can have a small store, but if the rent is too high, you're going to get a Verizon or some other, they probably pay for M&M, some other kind of small store that wouldn't be a chain store, which is what you're looking for. You need a balance, right? And you just don't want to go over the balance. So I'm here to say you have a wonderful opportunity in East Harlem between the rezoning, the possibility of the funding and the possibility of working together. The governor also has, as you know, the Regional Economic Development Council, which we sit on. And there's a possibility of applying for funding in July of this year, because any opportunity that produces jobs and is a either for-profit or nonprofit can get state money. So that's another opportunity to work. And I think that is another place that we could work together to make sure that the shops end up. But you need a plan. And that's why it's so great to have this community working together. You need a plan for the shops. You need a plan for retail. You need to focus on retail. And you need to focus on historically legendary shops and then whatever support those shopkeepers need to keep going, which is where SBS can be very helpful, because that's what they do. And then you need to work with the owners to say, listen, maybe we can work, how can we work together? Not on every single instance, but how can we work together so that block after block has a kind of iconic. When you have a new development, you have to be very careful. The banks love to say, you have to put in a credit-worthy tenant. That's what the banks love to say, and then we'll give you financing. You have to say no to the banks. You have to say, we want to work with you, but you have to understand that this particular grocery store, this particular shop has always paid their rent on time, and they will continue to do so. It is not just 7-Eleven and the drugstores that will pay their rent on time. The local drugstore and the local hat store and the local music store, they've always paid their rent on time, and you can certainly talk to the owners. And we at SBS, I'm making this up, will back you up. So this is the kind of discussion that has to go on, and it has to be very retail and very local, and it has to focus on a block-by-block kind of strategy. But the good news is you have the between union settlement and the funding and SBS, you have the opportunity to do that. So I just want to congratulate you, because the challenge is huge, but you're up to it, and East Harlem has already shown that you can do the kind of planning that's necessary, and now you have the institutions to help you do that. Thank you very much, and I look forward to working with you in any way you can. I care desperately about this issue. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Pablo Guzman. This is East Harlem, 106th Street, 116th Street, 125th Street. Oh, this is good. Yeah. Buena la música. Let me see if Jorge's there. ¿Cómo está? You look good, like $1,000,000. Casa Latina has been here 52 years. One inside tip, like the best fried chicken. This is good. This place is the best quesadillas, exactly like if you were in Mexico. The old-time neighborhood feeling, that's East Harlem.
Hello and welcome back to East Harlem Working Together, a campaign created through the arts to promote economic development and small business support. You know, small businesses are a crucial part of a neighborhood economy. If you didn't know, now you know. In August 2017, Union Settlement, the oldest and largest social service provider in East Harlem, along with other key institutions, launched East Harlem 360, a community development program intended to revitalize the local economy and trigger economic growth in East Harlem. An initiative funded by the New York City Department of Small Business Services, Neighborhood 360 grant program is designed to identify and launch commercial revitalization projects. All right, so joining us now, we welcome economic development expert and Union Settlement Business Development Center East Harlem 360 project manager, Pablo Guzman.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here
Oh,
today.
welcome. Look at everybody's happy you're here, Pablo. You have done such an amazing job.
We're just starting.
Well, I know we're just starting, but just in the short period of time, well, a year short period of time,
Yes.
it's been quite miraculous to just see the growth process. So can we just share with everyone the details behind East Harlem 360?
Yes. Everything started about a year and a half ago, and with what is called a CDNA, a Community Development Assessment. And we went over the entire district. We wanted to know what was missing, what we needed to level up and go hand by hand with progress. And we wrote our plans, handed it over, and voila, Neighborhood 360 was born. I think they packed together our recommendations and ideas, and they say, okay, do it.
So what are these recommendations and ideas that you're referencing?
They group into 6 components: cleaning and beautification, district marketing, placemaking, merchant organizing, coordination, and business support and retention. Yeah, I got all 6.
Yeah,
Yes.
look, he memorized it.
Yes.
Very good.
And each one geared to a particular facet of the economy that we feel that we could reinforce and make better, and to level up and boost the neighborhood.
Yes, and so what would you say is the grandest success story thus far? Because there have been a few, but I'm going to let you decide which ones you feel represent the growth process that this whole initiative is intended to serve.
Me, the greatest one is the one with the smallest number. And believe it or not, a year ago, the merchants on East Harlem, on the commercial corridors, they were completely disarticulated. They have worked next to each other for years, and they didn't even know each other. They didn't talk to each other. They didn't plan ahead. They didn't have a strategy for growth. And after 1 year, talking to them and guiding the way through economic development, now they are starting to form a group. They sit down now with certain regularity. They start talking, discussing about what can we do to get better. We, not anymore I. And that to me is the major achievement.
The achievement
of
of everybody coming together and actually knowing each other as neighbors, right? Yes, and working together and growing together. Would that be East Harlem Community Alliance?
East Harlem Community Alliance is a partner. Yes, very, very important partner of this, because the alliance connects together several levels of East Harlem, from the retailers to the elected officials, to the clergy, to social leaders and politicians, everything. So we got a great coverage through the alliance of the entire district, not only from the retail small business standpoint, but a much global initiative there.
Okay, so right now we kind of like talked a little bit about merchants. We spoke a little bit about pretty much everybody coming together as an alliance, and so the EH360 itself, it serves certain corridors, right? So what are those regulations or requirements, I should say?
Yes, we thought that if you try to grasp too much, then you don't really take.
Right, you're not able to execute at a level of excellence,
exactly.
Right. I get
so
it.
we concentrated on areas that had the most traffic, and the most concentration of retailers, and that became the corridors. Start with 106 between, I would say, Madison and 2nd Avenue. I think it was Madison. Goes all the way up on 3rd Avenue between 106 to 125th Street. We make a quick stop on 116 between, again, Madison and Pleasant Avenue, and then goes all the way again to 125th between Madison and 2nd again. That's what we saw, the concentration, what we saw the need to really put an effort and obtain results.
Those are the focused corridors.
Yes.
Okay, so.
However.
Okay, there's a however.
Notwithstanding the corridors, if we have a business who is in need, he wants to participate, wants to take the training, wants to meet with us, the doors are open.
So what training are you referencing?
We do a lot of training to the merchants. One of the things we noticed during the CDNA that was lacking was management skills. Many of them had a business just because, but they were not that technical as to how to manage a business, about accounting, tax management, leases, some paralegal stuff, and they were not that, and they were falling prey of abusive people in the neighborhood who were offering services at a very high rate and not giving anything. So we detected that through the Business Development Center of Union Settlement and decided to give them a hand and say, come with me here, sit down, I'm going to tell you how things are.
So basically, most of these services are free, right?
All of these services
all the services are free. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a wow factor.
Yep.
And so how long is this program?
The East Harlem 360 is a 3-year endeavor, and we just finished the first year, almost there on June 30th, and we're very happy with the results, and then 2 more years to go.
2 more years, okay. So I know you shared your personal success story referencing the merchants. But with regards to events, because we didn't tap into that, and there's other components. There's the actual tree planting and the street cleaning that's going on.
Yeah, that's the other component.
And the beauty of it is I've been watching that the youth are becoming involved, and it's their future. They're the future.
Yes.
It's their world that we're working on this for, right? So, just that enrollment, like, how did that occur?
Well, 360 is about that. It's about covering everything. It cannot be just one thing. And what we're trying to do is bring more people to the district and more buyers for the retailers to sell more and have a better revenue and have a better business. But we also wanted to make sure when they came in, they saw something nice. So we made an affiliation with Street Plus as a subcontractor, and they started doing some cleaning and sanitation of the corridors, the common areas on the corridors. And then we started a renovation of the public planters. They were in really bad shape. And
I love that you guys are protecting the trees now too.
Yes.
Like they're blocked off,
Mhm.
so there's no more garbage where the dirt is.
And we got a lot just right with Youth Action, Youth Build, and it's a local program that provides some also like technical training to the kids on building and construction. And we link together, and voila, they are helping us to renovate the planters. They are looking very nice. It's, again, 2 more years to do, but they are looking very nice.
Yeah, you're
now
right.
with clean streets, nicer views, more people comes and feel warm and happy to be more welcome to be in the district, and hopefully they will come back.
It's beautiful
with more.
because the
Yes.
community needs to come to terms with the fact that your neighborhood is your home as well, not just your home that you go and sleep. And then, of course, the icing of the beautification would be voila,
Yeah, excellent.
right? So
You know
let's
that
talk about the Neighborhood Design Lab.
When we were, after a year in operation, we felt something was missing. And we didn't really know what it was. And then we started talking about, we don't have something that puts everything together. And gladly, World Studio came through a grant of the Small Business Service Department. And they started devising ideas here and there until the flower came up. And I remember we were in the office all looking, browsing options, and when the flower came up, we all say, that's it. That's the one. Forget about everything else. We don't want to see anything else. Perfectly reflects what we are trying to do. Working together slogan, everybody cozy inside the flower growing, and couldn't be any better.
De colores,
Yes,
Pablo.
yes, we loved
De
it, we
colores,
loved it,
yes.
yes.
And I want to acknowledge you for the work that you've been doing and the history that we're creating and kind of revitalizing our community. Although, we have a great community to begin with, but there's nothing wrong with enhancing it, right?
No,
Yeah.
we're going to make it much better.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to open up the floor for
Yes.
some questioning. Does anyone here have questions for Pablo?
First of all, thank you very much. I have a question. So the city has a program called PIP, where if you are a small business and you get registered with the city, then the city can pay you faster. And we're finding that helps. I didn't know if that's something that you're pushing in addition to the MBE, WBE, and how those two programs could be of assistance or not. I don't know. I was just wondering.
Thank you for the question, Gil. and indeed, every time we meet with the merchants, we offer them all the programs that are available through the city, including the PIP. I believe to benefit from the PIP, you need to have certain higher level of operation and contracting, and have the need to get paid faster. And
Who doesn't want to get paid faster?
at the micro business level, most transactions are deeply cash. No,
Right.
You hand it over a taco and you get paid.
Right.
So it's only on the contracting services that a faster cash flow would help. But we are not tackling them on the corridors. Most service companies are outside of the corridor, so we get in touch with them. They're all our friends, and we also talk to them about the programs, but we don't engage directly under the East Harlem 360.
Right. I think that answered the question. I mean, what I got from your answer is you referenced food, so restaurants versus catering, contracting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if did that answer her question? Did that answer your question? Yes. Okay. All right. Great. So does anyone else have a question? We have room, time for one. Yes, please.
Hello, my name is Madeline Britt. I'm from the Department of Small Business Services. Hi, Pablo. I had a question. I was hoping you could talk a little bit about the different district marketing campaigns you've been doing, specifically the Rosario videos, and how you've been using those to promote the district. Thank you.
Yes. One of the strategies that we started last year was to let the people know who we were, what we had. And this initiative through the Rosario group was to film hidden gems and the treasures, the small treasures that we had in East Harlem, like the murals, like the best taco, like the best tres leches.
Somebody wants to eat Mexican food over here. I mean, I'm just saying.
All these things, no? And we needed to promote it. And for that, the vehicle was these wonderful video clips that we had prepared. It took a year to put together a lineup of excellently produced video clips showing what we have for people to be attracted to the neighborhood and then see what they watched in the clips.
Right. It's
actually
social media. Yeah.
Yes.
It's the name of the game nowadays, especially with the next generation.
The idea and everything we do at East Harlem 360 is sustainable. We are trying to generate marketing options for the retailers that are not expensive. So once we are no longer there, they will say, oh, this one worked, that was not that expensive, then they will do it by themselves.
Well, we thank you. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for being here with us today. And for you guys, we thank you all for your participation. And for more information regarding upcoming projects related to EH360, you can visit unionsettlement.org. And for more information on the Neighborhood 360 program, visit nyc.gov/neighborhood360. We're taking a quick break, but we'll sit down with some of the local merchants when we return.
I'm very proud that we're able to bring you all together to go through the tradition that you know even better than we.
Que viva Mexico! White roses symbolizing the beauty of Mexico.
Grito de Dolores, which is a cry and a shout of victory.
Mexicanos, viva los héroes que nos dieron patria y libertad. Que viva, que viva México. Que viva.
I'm amazed at how many young people are out here. That's awesome. So we're celebrating Mexican Independence Day along 116th Street between 2nd and 3rd. It started last night with El Grito de Dolores, and today we celebrate with family and friends. Have a good time, enjoy the Mexican pride, and show our support for all these businesses here in East Harlem. We're all family, and East Harlem celebrates and loves together.
Union Settlements Business Development Center helps individuals who have their own business or who want to create a business by providing business education and technology classes, as well as technical assistance in both English y Español. That would be Spanish. Joining us now to discuss the sweetness of their business development, we welcome owner of Cake Burger, Yvette Zayas, and co-owner of Aroma's Boutique Bakery, Joanne Barrett. Hello, ladies, and welcome. So now we get to talk about dulcera. Exactly. Dulcera would be sweetness, right? Yeah. Because you both chose the business of sweetness and bakery and cupcakes and cakes and all that jazz. I'm hungry. Just introducing you. But let's open up with why you chose your line of business. You can start, Joanne.
Sure. I was in events most of my life, corporate America, which I loved. And then circumstances, there weren't a lot of event jobs. And a fluke, my sister graduated, dropped out of grad school to become a chef. And we ended up working together. It wasn't planned. And 14 years later, we're these award-winning cake designers and caterers, voted best of weddings, and we do cakes and food all over New York City and as far as Dallas. So it's pretty exciting.
It is exciting,
Yeah,
and we're gonna get into more details of the style of your
Absolutely.
boutique, as you like to call it, right? But let's just hear a little bit about Yvette and Cake Burger, because I'm like, Cake Burger, would that be Cake Burger?
I decided to get into cake decorating and sculptures because I'm naturally an artist. I do sculptures and paintings and all that stuff, but when I was a little girl, I said to myself, I didn't see myself on 42nd Street, painting people the way they do. So I think that I make more money making cakes than, trying to paint someone's portrait. So what I did was I applied my art to cake sculptures and cakes.
And she's referencing the cake that we're looking at because that would be her cake sculpture.
My baby.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, just because I mentioned Cake Burger, right? So that's the name of your establishment, right? And before we go into the Business Development Center and all they've assisted you with, I really need to know where the name Cake Burger came from, right? Because the first thing that comes to my mind is like, oh, yeah, we're gonna do everything in reverse. We're gonna eat the cake before we eat the burger. Is it a cake burger joint?
It's a 1950s retro malt shop. And we're going to be having artisanal desserts, and we're going to be specializing in cake sculptures and burgers. So our specialty is going to be cakes and burgers. And the reason why I did cake burgers is because, one, I'm going to be in a bakery all day. Two, I have to eat. So I thought that I would, make the sweets on this side, and when I want something to eat, then I just I need a burger or something to eat for dinner.
So
that's why.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your outfit.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, oh my gosh, she came dressed in the theme.
Yes.
So that means you're gonna dress like that every day?
Maybe. I'll have my workers get dressed up in 1950s.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Nice. It's like a nice little time trip, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. So let's just hear a little bit about Aroma Boutique Bakery, right? Just the term boutique is like, why would you name a bakery a boutique?
Well, when we had the opportunity to open Aromas, we thought, when I say we, I have a business partner, my sister, Chef Eileen, and we thought about, well, what are we providing? We work with the top flavor and fragrance companies in the world. We do really awesome creations like our Szechuan lavender brownie and bergamot meringue. So what are we going to do? And a boutique is a specialty store. So that we're doing that type of baking, those types of creations, that type of customization. So that's what had us choose Aroma's Boutique Bakery.
It's interesting, right? Because we're conditioned to affiliate boutique with clothing.
Absolutely,
right?
And that was very intentional. We really thought about fashion. We wanted it to be sort of like fancy and beautiful. Like we are committed that we do delicious food that's also beautiful. Delicious cakes are also beautiful. You don't get one without the other.
And since we're on the topic, let's talk about the fact that you chose Aroma as well. Because when you hear Aroma, the first thing that comes to thought is scent. And I understand you use essential oils.
Correct.
So how do you use essential oils?
Oh, sure. Well, I'll answer both of your questions. First, Aroma. We chose Aromas because it translates across languages. We wanted it to be sort of understood in English, Spanish, and Italian because we were thinking about, well, we're opening in East Harlem, so that was very important to us. Regarding the essential oils, we had one of these top flavor and fragrance companies approach us many years ago to infuse food into desserts and infuse oils into desserts and food. And they wanted this so that they could showcase for their perfume buyers and their flavor buyers sort of a different experience, a heightened experience of the oils that they could use in their produces. It's awesome.
It is awesome. Like I'm having this whole visual of like eating and rubbing it on me.
It is so incredible that you can have like lavender and raspberry, and it's pretty awesome.
Love.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the development, right? Being within these programs. And Yvette, you have been working really closely with the Business Development Center, right?
Yes.
So just share a little bit about how they've enhanced your business, right? Because you're going to open a storefront, but you haven't yet.
No.
So let's share what that process has been for you and how they've assisted you.
Well, first of all, they woke me up out of a dream, because people swear that they can just open up a business with money and that's it, but that's not true. You really need a business plan, and you need people to actually tell you, not tell you, but inform you and guide you where and how. I managed a bakery for 25 years. Managing a bakery and running a bakery is not the same thing. However, I learned the front of the house, the back of the house. I learned how to deal with customers, how to do inventory. I knew all of that. Now, the business center came in to show me about accounting. You need accounting. I don't care what, you need accounting. I knew nothing about accounting, and now I'm like, my cash flow, and this is my cost of goods. You know, so now it's like, wow, you know, you really have to think about what your boss does, what you do, you know, to make ends meet. And that's what they showed me. They showed me how to do the marketing. They showed me, you know, again, the cost of goods and the banks. And they showed me everything, the mechanics, the behind the scenes of how to run a business. And these people, they're fabulous. I go to them and they're like, Yvette, yes. When? I'm like, one day, not today.
But it's there. You're almost there.
Yes.
And the beauty of it is that you have like coaches. And I personally feel that in life we all need coaches, right?
You do.
And so before we go, I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about Buy Local East Harlem, because that's the program that you're working closely with, which is also under Union Settlement.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've worked with Union Settlement in the past in the Business Development Center, and they were there at the very beginning. And as Edwin Nieves says, he's like, we're part of the family. So whether it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago, we're always part of that family, so they've been part of that. And recently, over the last year, the Buy Local program has been an incredible part of this recent growth that we've had. I think in the last 6 months, an additional $13,000 in closed business as a result of the clients and vendors we've met through that program. And it's been really, and it's not just the money's wonderful, right? But it's also the relationships that we've built and the people we've met. Mount Sinai is a new client of ours, which is very exciting. Thanks to Buy Local. And today we received our first order from Metropolitan Hospital.
Yes.
So that was very exciting. But all of that is made possible through Buy Local, the work and effort, the doors that Michelle Cruz is knocking on. And we could possibly get there, but we're getting there much faster and greater. And as I tell people, it's an incredible time to be an entrepreneur in East Harlem.
Beautiful.
So, very exciting.
Oh, it is very exciting.
We were
Congratulations.
going to strike a deal already when we came in. I know that they do gluten-free. And so I said, gluten-free is like a whole new different recipe, so that in the Buy Local, and since we know each other, I am going to be knocking on their door for gluten-free products. And just FYI, they had sent a client over to me to make a cake sculpture. So there's enough money to go around, and we're here to share.
I love that, and hence a beautiful closing. There we have East Harlem working together. Bravo. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for that. Thank you. And you guys, once again, for more on Cake Burger, you can visit cakeburgers.com. And for more on Aroma's Boutique Bakery, you can visit aromasboutiquebakery.com. And to learn more on how you can get your business started and or enhance your knowledge, visit unionsettlement.org/business development.
The last 20 years, I've implanted myself in East Harlem. The location was conducive for us. By the bridge, we got the Metro North, we got the 4, 5, and 6, and we're able to get the clients in here. So I have a niche, basically architectural ornament. Things are saved and they don't get destroyed, and I place them into new uses, whether it's homes or restaurants, nightclubs, hotels. It basically boils down to improving people's lives. How long can you live in a plain box? So that's what I like to do. Give people more aspiration and inspiration.
As the inevitable evolution occurs within society, be it through the arts, education, financial development, or just building bridges instead of building walls. Yeah, we can take a moment on that one. We all got that ba-dum-bum. What remains at the forefront, that is, of union settlement projects such as EH360, Neighborhood Design Lab, Buy Local East Harlem, and East Harlem Community Alliance is this. The projects serve not only as a means for economic development within the East Harlem neighborhood, they also strengthen the unity within a predominantly immigrant community. And so, regardless of race or religion, we continue to build together, remembering that we rise by lifting each other up. And that's how East Harlem is working together. Thank you for watching. I'm Rhina Valentin of La Reina del Barrio, and well, may the universe provide peace, prosperity, and love.